On August 4th, 2020, FBG Duck was out shopping for his son's birthday in Chicago's Gold Coast neighborhood when all of a sudden, two vehicles pulled up on the block. Four gunmen jumped out of cars and started spraying FBG Duck and his crew with bullets, completely destroying the Dolce & Gabbana storefront and causing mayhem in broad daylight. The shooters then took off, leaving FBG Duck, one of the city's most veteran drill rappers, dead on the street. FBG Duck's murder was shocking, but it also closed the chapter on one of the longest running beefs in the city's history. So let's go back to the beginning. FBG Duck, aka Carlton Weekly, first started making waves way back in 2011, right when Chicago's drill scene was first picking up steam. A couple years later, drill music would go mainstream when Kanye West gave Chief Keef a high-profile cosign and remixed his song I Don't Like. This put a major spotlight on the city. One thing that set FBG Duck apart was that he repped the Gangster Disciples, while Shy's most popular drill rappers, Chief Keef and Lil Durk, were Black Disciples or BDs. The BDs were part of GDs decades ago, but have since splintered off to become their own gang, and they considered the GDs their main enemies. While BD members weren't getting mainstream shine, the GDs hadn't really cut through the industry in the same way. The closest they got was with a rapper named Lil Jojo, who openly beefed with BDs like Chief Keef. Jojo's come up came to a tragic end in 2012 when he was shot to death after openly posting his location on Twitter. He was only 18 years old. Keef openly mocked Lil Jojo's murder on the internet, leading to some controversy and speculate that Interscope might drop him, which if you think about it is a little odd when you think about how widespread dissing the dead has become in 2023. FBG Duck, meanwhile, was known for repping Tookaville, a Southside neighborhood that was named after a well-liked 15-year-old who was shot and killed at a bus stop in 2011. It was rumored that O.D. Perry, one of the most feared and respected BDs in the city, was killed in retaliation for Tooka's death. O.D.'s shooting kicked off a gang war between the BDs and GDs that's still raging to this day. It's also how O Block got its name. In honor of O.D., the block was named after respect for him. After O.D.'s death, Duck dropped a music video called Duck Freestyle where he openly dissed O.D. and O Block, turning him into one of O Block's biggest ops. FBG Duck was no stranger to the type of violence that came from operating in the trenches. In 2013, he was shot in the leg and ankle, and in another incident, he was stabbed in the stomach by his ex-girlfriend after he slapped her in the face. Duck spoke openly in interviews about how he had to move around the city with a paranoid mentality, claiming that he thinks about getting killed every day. Duck was on the drill wave early, but he wasn't seeing the kind of success that other Chicago artists were enjoying. Chicago was quickly becoming the epicenter of hip-hop, but FBG Duck was still struggling to make the music pop for him while being committed to hustling in the trenches. Everything started to change for FBG Duck though when he dropped Slide in 2017. Duck recorded Slide in the aftermath of his brother FBG Brick's murder as a way to taunt his ops and tell them to get at him. Slide got the attention of major labels who were suddenly interested in signing Duck. FBG Duck ended up inking a deal with Sony Records. While rumors say the deal was 1.7 mil, Duck claimed in a later interview that he got way more money out of the situation. All of a sudden, Duck's fortunes looked like they were about to reverse. Now he had every incentive to leave the street life behind and focus on grinding through music. Duck ended up dropping a song called Chicago Legends that looked like a huge turning point for his career. While Duck had a history of dissing his enemies on record, Chicago Legends saw him paying tribute to those who died in the GD side and the BD side. To a lot of fans, it looked like FBG Duck was making a real attempt to put the gang aside and settle old beefs. In the track, Duck not only shouted out Lil Jojo, but paid tribute to Chief Keef's big cousin Fredo Santana, who passed away in 2018. With all this though, Duck's olive branch was outright rejected when King Von dissed them and his dead homies on the song Exposing Me. FBG Duck was trying to turn a new leaf, but that did not last. Duck and Ruga, another well-known GD rapper, started firing back on their O-Block ops by remixing Exposing Me. On an IG Live around that time, FBG Duck continued to diss Von while claiming the two of them used to play together as kids. At this point, it looked like Duck was on a warpath. If Chicago Legends saw him trying to be the bigger man, it looked like he was right back to his old ways when he started getting back into beefs with the BDs and O-Block. In 2020, FBG Duck put out Dead, a song dedicated to kicking dirt on the dead ops. The track was incredibly disrespectful and even had him bringing up O.D. Perry again, who he dissed years earlier. He even referenced making Chicago Legends, claiming it was just about business, and went right back on his initial promise to not diss the dead. Less than a month after Dead Bitches dropped, FBG Duck was shot to death outside Dolce & Gabbana. He was only 26 years old. In the aftermath of the shooting, Duck's mom claimed that the police kept the ambulance from getting to Duck in time, but there's no confirmation to back this up. In addition, someone uploaded the 12-minute video to YouTube that showed Duck dying and bleeding out on the street. Rumors floated on the street that Dead crossed the line and motivated the shooters to come after Duck. An informant allegedly told Chicago police and the FBI that the BDs had put a $50,000 bounty on FBG Duck's head and then later upped the price to $100 grand. This is easily considered one of the biggest bounties to put on any gang member's head in Chicago history. A lot of people thought the circumstances of the shooting, it happening near Miracle Mile in broad daylight in a full view of witnesses, would lead to the people being arrested fast. For nearly a year, it looks like there was little progress in FBG Duck's murder case, but during that time, fans on the internet started noticing O Block members posting incriminating info on social media. In one interview with Boss Top, one of Chief Keef's former proteges that took place about a month after Duck was killed, a vlogger asked about what happened to Duck. In the video, people clearly see a silver Chrysler 300 parked outside, the same make and model of the car that was used to hit FBG Duck. While this could possibly be chalked up to crazy coincidence, it definitely made some people think twice. Internet and Reddit detectives became obsessed with FBG Duck's case, combing through IG Live videos in search of possible evidence. Fake pages associated with O Block members started dropping comments bragging about Duck's murder, while a YouTuber found one of the cars used in the hit by comparing police scanner info with old IG Live clips. A lot of speculation started floating around that whoever filmed the video of Duck dying in the street was also connected to the murder. Those members included C Murda, Kenny Mac, Los, C-Thang, and Muwap. Then in April of this year, a sixth member of O Block was added to the RICO case when Ralph Turpin, aka TZ, was charged with being involved in Duck's murder. While we have to wait for trial to see the evidence against these O Block members, it's very possible that their messiness when it came to covering their tracks and then boasting about the murder on social media led them to getting jammed up by the police. And as we talked about before, a RICO case is really hard to beat, meaning this might be a f around and find out type situation for these O Block members. In the aftermath of FBG Duck's death, the Chicago drill scene has been plagued with tons of violence. King Von, one of O Block's most well-known members and one of Duck's main ops, was murdered in Atlanta just a couple months after Duck was killed. FBG Duck's assassination was the latest chapter in a beef that stretched on for years. The animosity between the BDs and the GDs might have started in the streets, but has become a huge part of Chicago's drill culture. The total fallout of Duck's death remains to be seen, but the arrest of at least 6 O Block members means his murder will likely have massive consequences for the Chicago drill scene.